Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I cover nostalgic, obscure, or otherwise strange content. We did it! Can you believe it? We have made it through 2020. If you are here, give yourself a round of applause because it has not been easy. As we cross the threshold out of the holiday season into this new year, I thought that I would do a video about a movie that is kind of a holiday movie, kind of not. It's one of my favorite rom-coms of all time, and it is completely insane if you think about it for more than like 2 seconds. That movie, of course, is While You Were Sleeping. That's right, baby. It's time for some mid-90s Sandra Bullock rom-com goodness. I'm really excited for this. I've wanted to do this video for a long time. So Sandra Bullock... Somebody's watching a TV really loudly downstairs, but it's okay. Sandra Bullock plays a girl who was raised by her single dad, who is now passed away, but he was really fun-loving, and, you know, he always took her on, you know, adventures.
And he would tell me amazing stories about strange and exotic lands as we headed off to exciting destinations like Milwaukee.
To Wisconsin. He took her on adventures to Wisconsin, and he would tell her stories about her mom, and now Sandra Bullock's character, Lucy, she lives on her own, and she works at the transit authority. And the guy that she is absolutely in love with is a guy that does not know she exists. We've all been there, right?
He was just perfect.
He's like this high-powered Chicago lawyer and barely looks at her when he gets on the train every morning, but he does have a very nice smile, so I can see what she's going for.
Oh, I should have gotten the blue spruce. They're lighter.
And she may be a romantic, but she kind of has it tough, you know? She's kind of an independent girl. You know, we stan a rom-com heroine who has a personality. But Lucy's a very nice girl. She's so nice that she puts a tree through her landlord's window downstairs, and he's not even that mad about it.
That's okay, Lucy. My brother Julie's in the glass business. Say hello.
Hello, Luce.
Yeah, her landlord's son is constantly harassing her, but, you know, the landlord's a nice enough guy. And because she has no family, her boss talks her into working on Christmas.
But Lucy, you're the only one.
Without family.
Very, very sad for Lucy. And so she's working on Christmas alone at the L, and who does she see but Mr. Nice Smile? And then, plot twist, Mr. Nice Smile gets mugged and pushed on the train tracks.
Somebody help me, please!
And she has to save his life.
Sir, are you okay? Can you get up?
No, I don't think he's okay, Lucy. It stresses me out too because, like, aren't those tracks like super electrified? Like, if this wasn't a movie, they'd both be dead, right?
There's a train coming and it's fast. It's an express.
Yeah, I don't think he's able to think about that right now, Lucy. You gotta hurry it up. But she gets him off the tracks just in time, and she's a big hero. Not 10 minutes into this movie, they have a moment for like a second, and then he goes unconscious again. So they rush him to the hospital. They won't let her in because she's not family, you know? He's in a coma.
Family only.
No, you don't understand because
Wait there.
But then one of the nurses overhears her say to herself,
Oh, I was gonna marry him.
so thinking that she's actually the fiancé, unbeknownst to Lucy herself, she lets her in.
What is this?
This is my son.
And then who shows up but his entire gigantic family? They are crazy and they're adorable.
He'll be all right, right?
What
right?
happened? What's going on?
His dad's played by Peter Boyle, if you watched any Everybody Loves Raymond.
Who's she?
She's his fiance. His fiance? Yeah.
And then the nurse is like, oh, that's the fiancé, and the family's very confused. You know, this guy hasn't really been home to see his family in a while, because he's a big, powerful lawyer man, so they don't know that it's not true. They're just confused. And Lucy's also very confused.
Is she okay?
She's got a little heart problem. She's had 3 attacks already.
And then she's like afraid the grandmother's gonna have a heart attack if she finds out, because she's so happy to hear that her grandson has a fiancé. It's a whole mess.
I'm not engaged. I've never even spoken to the guy.
Well, downstairs, you said you were gonna marry him.
Oh, geez, I was talking to myself.
Well, next time you talk to yourself, tell yourself you're single and end the conversation.
Probably a good idea.
I think you saved her life. In fact, I think you saved the whole family.
Great. That's just what she wanted to hear. So now she's in the hospital with these people on Christmas Day, pretending to be engaged to their son who doesn't know she exists. You got it? Okay.
What was it about him that, first struck you?
It was his smile.
They're caps.
Thanks, Dad. She gets home. Joe Jr. tries to get her to go to the ice capades with him.
I got ice capades. I know a guy.
And very quickly she's back at the hospital. And I guess just out of guilt or stress, she confesses everything to her in a coma fiance. And who is there to overhear it but his godfather. But he doesn't rat her out, so good for him, I think. I don't know how I would feel if I were the family in that situation. It's a pretty tough situation.
Lucy! We didn't know you were here.
Hi.
Were you here all night?
So they ask her to come home the next day and celebrate Christmas with them because they didn't get to have Christmas because, their son almost died on train tracks and whatnot.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Callahan. These are your husband's things.
Not my husband!
I'm sorry, your fiance.
Yeah, I'd be pretty stressed too, but don't take it out on the nurse. He's just trying to do his job. She runs into a coworker of Peter. That's Mr. Smile's name, the coma fiance. She runs into a friend of his and finds out that that Peter only has one testicle because of a basketball accident.
Did he tell you it was my fault? We're playing basketball, all right? I carry a pencil. I'm a lawyer. I do that.
Ugh. She tells her boss what's going on, and he's like, oh, you can't tell him the truth.
Now, you tell them now, you might as well shoot Grandma.
No, you'll kill Grandma. You gotta keep this up until he comes out of the coma. Or dies.
What if he doesn't come out of his coma?
Well, then who's to know?
And so she changes her mind about going to Christmas with the family. Also, side note, I like that her to-do list is called things I can't afford to pay other people to do. She sits outside talking to the Godfather for a little bit, and he kind of alludes to the fact that he knows more than he's saying, but again, he doesn't say anything.
Well, they took me in as part of their family. I'd never let anyone hurt them.
Neither would I.
I think he's just like, let's see how this plays out. I'm interested. But she has this adorable Christmas with the family. They're all very cute. Then we get an insert shot of Peter's answering machine, and... uh-oh.
What the heck? I will marry you.
Things just got more complicated. Also, in the middle of the night, Lucy has spent the night with this family. She's sleeping on the couch. Everybody's crashed somewhere in the house. And the elusive brother, Jack, shows up in the middle of the night. He's been a part of none of this, so isn't he going to be surprised? Lucy's Peter's fiance.
No, that's not Peter's fiance.
Also, you may recognize the brother Jack as being played by Bill Pullman, who played the dad in Casper. I did a video a couple months back on the first Casper movie, by the way, if you want to go check that out. Also, this has nothing to do with anything. This is just a transition shot. This paper boy is trying to deliver their paper and just completely eats shit. Poor guy.
Good morning.
Nah, good lord.
I guess I don't remember meeting you.
Well, it's probably because we've never met.
So Jack is suspicious, but he's nice about it. They have a little bit of a family discussion about it at Mass the next day.
I like Mass better in Latin. It's nicer when you don't know what they're saying.
Yeah, she's probably right.
Talk about that later, okay?
Talk about it now. He can't kill you in church.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Meanwhile, Lucy's going through Peter, the coma patient's stuff that they gave her at the hospital because they think that she's the fiance, and she finds cat food and is like, oh shit, he has a cat. No one's fed the cat. So she lets herself into his apartment. Meanwhile, the brother Jack goes over to see her at her place, runs into Joe Jr., who tells him that he's dating Lucy.
I'm dating her.
And then Jack catches up with Lucy at Peter's apartment, scares the shit out of her again. and almost kills Jack. Oh dear. He almost gave her a heart attack twice. She almost put him in the hospital right along with his brother. I think they're even.
Peter doesn't have a cat.
This poor guy tries to catch her out on her lie, because he can tell that she's lying, but like, at every turn, he just looks like the idiot, which makes him even more confused. They go and give blood together at the hospital. He's still kind of drilling her. And then passes out. I've been there, dude. The one time I gave blood, I almost passed out, didn't, and then threw up. It was quite an experience. It was at Dragon Con. So I got to do it in front of a whole crowd of people. In a fancy hotel. But enough about me, back to the movie.
Why are you asking her all these questions?
Don't ask me. Ask her boyfriend, Joe Fusco.
Joe Jr.?
So he's drilling her in front of the whole family at the hospital. And she's telling him, no, Joe isn't my boyfriend. That's just the guy that stalks me in my apartment. He's my landlord's kid.
If she wanted to prove it, she'd prove it.
And so, backed into a corner, in the interest of saving Grandma's life and her own cover, she has no choice but to play the Peter has one ball card.
Peter has one testicle.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm his mother.
Oh, Mom, ew.
Oh no. God.
Well, look at the bright side. He's got more room in his jockey shorts.
I love the grandma. It makes me laugh every time. So Joe Jr. comes over to her apartment the next day to pick a bone with her for not going to the ice-capades with him.
Who is it?
Lucy, it's Saul.
What are you, two-timing Joe Jr.?
Not two-time, I never one-time.
And then who shows up but Saul, the Godfather, so she hides Joe Jr. in the closet.
Nice panties.
So after dealing with all that, Saul comes in and he tells her that he knows the truth.
Well, the night you visited Peter, I was outside the door. I know the truth.
He's not mad at her, though. Saul's a sweet guy. And she promises that she's going to tell the truth eventually.
Don't tell them a thing. They need you, Lucy. Just like you need them.
Meanwhile, Joe Jr. is trying on her shoes.
I slipped.
You're trying on my shoes?
And then Jack the brother shows up, so she throws him back in the closet.
Hey, was that Saul I saw leaving? What's that?
Cat.
He says he has a wedding present from his parents for her, and because she doesn't want to have to deal with the whole Joe Jr. is in the closet situation anymore, she tells him she'll go with him to Peter's apartment and they can put it up there. He opens up the truck and she sees this rocking chair and she's like, oh my god, that's such a beautiful gift. And he's like, you really like it? Cool, that's not yours. You get the ugly green couch. But he did make the rocking chair by hand, so that's cool. They get this ugly ass sofa up to this gorgeous, super expensive Chicago apartment.
You don't know her?
No. But I'm new here.
Oh, well, she's Peter Callahan's fiancée in 57G.
So yeah, Jack tells the doorman who's new that, oh, this is Peter's fiancée. And the doorman, having heard stories about the fiancée that called and left the message on his voice machine, is terrified of her after that because the real fiancée is horrific.
They told me about her, sir. She's scary.
But anyway, in this whole process, they have a bonding experience.
1, 2.
I think the sofa should go right there.
Nothing brings people together like breaking a priceless heirloom and then covering it up. And then they have to walk all the way back to her apartment because he's completely parked in. And she tells him about her dad and how she wants to go to Italy. It's very cute. Let's see what else happens. They almost die on the ice, but then don't. Jack rips his pants. Unfortunate for him. So now, to make things even more complicated, not only is she fake engaged to the one guy, but she's IRL in love with the brother. A lot of twists and turns in this movie.
All right, Lucy, it's either me or him.
Him?
Yeah, pretty much anybody but Joe Jr. Poor guy, she makes him walk home with broken pants.
If I tell Jack that I lied to his family, he will never speak to me again.
Man, that sucks. You finally fall in love with somebody and you can't date them because they think you're engaged to their brother who's in a coma. You know, that typical life situation. Meanwhile, Jack is so, like, in love now he's playing poker with a coma patient and betting on a girlfriend.
High card gets Lucy. All right. We'll go best out of 3.
So after having another awkward family dinner with the family, she ends up under the mistletoe with Jack, and everybody's like, now, kiss! Also, the next day, the little sister and her friend show up at her work when she's working at the L, and,
Girl, are you pregnant?
Yes, I'm pregnant, Celeste.
her coworker thinks she's pregnant, and she jokingly is like, oh yeah, I'm pregnant. So then the whole family thinks she's really pregnant.
Look, I really would like to hear from you, and I'd like to see my cat.
Oh, and the real fiance of Peter is coming back to Chicago. Yay. So Jack immediately goes to talk to Lucy about the fact that he thinks she's pregnant now. Poor Jack. He's got a lot of emotions going on for himself. I mean, poor Lucy too, but Jack is just a whole nother level of confused.
It's that other guy, isn't it?
What do you mean?
I seen the way you look at him.
Apparently, she's so obviously in love with Jack that Joe Jr. even backs off because he knows he doesn't have a chance anymore. It would have been nice if he just took her no to mean no because she's an individual, but, you know, now that he knows there's another guy in the picture, he's finally gonna lay off. So thinking that she's pregnant, Jack, like, drives her to this party that she's going to, because it's New Year's Eve now, by the way, even though it's, like, 2 blocks down the street. And then, you know, they get to the party, and everybody thinks that this is her fiancé that they've been hearing about.
Lucy,
Yeah?
they have doctors for this kind of thing.
He's got a point. He really has a point.
You shouldn't have any.
Why not?
Because it's not good for the baby.
Jack then accidentally announces that she's pregnant to the whole party. Remember, she is not, in fact, pregnant. But now all her friends think she is. She leaves the party embarrassed. Jack apologizes, but is happy that she's not pregnant. He accuses her one more time of having a thing with Joe Jr., which is still funny and ridiculous.
Hey, Luce. Is this guy bothering you?
Oh, dear God.
I know karate.
Sure you do, Joe. I believe you, Joe. And then he manages to insult her again.
So the only reason your brother would want to marry someone like me is if I was pregnant, right?
Good job, Jack.
Happy New Year.
So her New Year's already going great. I don't know when this goes up. It'll probably go up on New Year's Eve. Maybe you're watching this on New Year's Day. Is it 2021 where you are yet? Is it better? It probably isn't, but I hope it's better. But then, at midnight, guess what happens? Peter wakes up. So remember, this guy is already confused because he went into a coma after being mugged on Christmas morning, and now he's waking up at midnight on New Year's. And now everybody's gonna tell him he has a fiance that he doesn't have. He remembers everybody but Lucy, and you would think this would be when the game would be up for her, but nope.
He's got amnesia.
They diagnose him with amnesia, so now he thinks he has amnesia and a fiance. I love this movie. She tries to tell them the truth again. It doesn't work again. Saul volunteers to help her tell them, and then dips.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
And Peter's just left alone in the hospital thinking that... like checking, like, do I know the ABCs? I forgot about my fiance. What else have I forgotten about? This movie's so messed up, but I love it. Oh my god. Jack makes up with Lucy, but he still doesn't tell her how he feels. What he does manage to do is finally tell his dad that he doesn't want to be part of the family business. And he actually takes it pretty well.
Why didn't you say something sooner? I could have sold the whole damn thing to Uncle Eddie for twice its value.
So now he's allowed to go make rocking chairs in peace. But the girl he likes is still engaged to his brother, who is in a coma and now thinks he has amnesia. So things are starting to turn up for him, but it's still kind of a mess.
You have to remember Lucy.
Social Security number 144606894.
You love her.
I will say, it's very much worth noting. If this premise played out with anybody other than Sandra Bullock, or God forbid in real life, this would totally be a crime, you know? Can you even imagine? This could easily have been a horror movie under different direction, but it's not. It's an adorable rom-com. Almost at the end, so bear with me. So Saul, the Godfather, goes in, and instead of telling Peter the truth...
But Peter, you're a putz.
He looks at him and he's like, hey kid, look at me. Look me in the eyes. I've known you your whole life, and here's the deal. If you don't marry Lucy, you're a dumbass. And Peter's like, oh, okay.
And after 2 minutes, if you're not madly in love with her, why, tell her you want to break up. You can go back to being a putz.
So Peter tries desperately to have a conversation with Lucy. Oh, and then the actual fiance that everybody dislikes, she shows up and finds out that he has another fiance? Awkward. So now Peter tells Jack that he's now in love with Lucy, who he's known for all of 3 minutes. And Jack's just like, oh dear God, end my suffering.
She would go all the way to Europe just to get a stamp on her passport. I don't know if that amounts to insanity or just being really, really likable.
Damn, Jack's got it bad. Poor dude.
But she's gotta be really special. She's gotta be. And I can spend the rest of my life finding out why.
And he leaves his adorably stupid brother in a wheelchair, talking to himself. Oh, but then the other lady shows up and she's pissed.
You moved to Portugal.
Yes, well, I didn't think you were going to run out and marry the first bimbo that you came across.
Yo, easy.
I want my stuff back.
Fine. Then I want my stuff back.
What stuff?
Your nose.
Oh, they're such a functional couple. I can't understand why they didn't get married in the first place. Lucy shows up to just end this once and for all and tell him the truth, and...
Will you marry me?
He proposes for real. Yeah, that nurse is just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
How you doing? Hey, are you going to see Lucy?
Even Joe Jr.'s got a girlfriend. Jack is standing here like, why the hell don't I have a girlfriend? What the hell is going on? I saw this TikTok the other night, by the way, where this girl was like, I just realized that I lived through a global pandemic before I found a guy. And oh my God, it hit super hard. I felt it like in my bone marrow. It was great.
Dropping off some furniture in Little Italy. I look in the window and...
Oh, he gives her a little snow globe like her mom did for her dad. But he chickens out again on telling her that he likes her, so what are you gonna do? Well, if you're Lucy, you have a wedding the next day to Peter in the hospital chapel? They could have at least waited until he was off of an IV. Yeah, girl, take the jacket off before you get married. That's the biggest issue you got going on right now.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to join...
I object.
There you go, girl. You did it. At the worst possible moment, but you did it. I'm proud of you.
I would have to object too.
What about you?
I'm thinking.
Oh, poor Peter.
I am in love with your son.
I know.
Not that one. That one.
The rocking chair won him. I like that at this moment, Jack does not yet know that she was never engaged to his brother. He thinks that he just sniped his brother's fiance while he was in a coma. And he looks so happy about it. Siblings, man.
Elsie, how you doing? You doing okay?
Yeah, she cuts herself off. She's like, Grandma, you good? Okay, Grandma's good. Now about this whole situation. She tells him the truth and then walks away. It's a very sad moment. The real fiance and the real fiance's husband come in, so that's a whole nother issue that they have to deal with.
I just wanted to say that I'm sorry things didn't work out with that guy.
Oh, Joe Jr. made an attempt at being human.
You deserve better than that.
He's trying really hard, guys. But then she's back at work, and what do you know?
You see?
Jack has come to propose for real this time.
Get down on your knee. It's more romantic.
And he's brought the whole family with him. It's adorable. Even though her ring doesn't fit her, it's so adorable.
Peter once asked me when it was that I fell in love with Jack. And I told him. It was while you were sleeping.
That's the name of the movie. And that's the end of the movie. This movie's so weird and I love it so much. I watch it with my big crazy family all the time. It's a favorite of ours. And I've wanted to talk about it on this channel for a really long time. So I thought it was a good video to bring us all into the new year. I hope this new year brings a ton of awesome things for all of you guys. This one's been really tough, but we have made it through. And I'm proud of all of you. I'm proud of all of us, really. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing. Everything you do to support this channel, it means the world to me. If you're new here and you're a fan of nonsense, maybe consider sticking around because I post nonsense all the time. Ring the bell because there's a chaotic upload schedule going on here. And remember, my name is Avery. I'm a YouTuber if you say so, because thanks to you guys, this is technically a YouTube channel. Happy New Year, everybody. Bye.